watch out, baby, you're about to tip the scales. The feather on the turtle's back broke the shell. Back then there was a time I thought we'd prevail. Fast forward, crazy.
Welcome to my channel. I'm so glad you clicked on this video. Today I'll be showing you my week of workouts as a busy high school student, and I just want to say that this is an ideal week of workouts. Sometimes I get sick. Actually, I get sick a lot, meaning I work out less, and other times life happens. So for our first day, I did legs. I love starting the week with legs. Today was focused on hamstrings and glutes, and recently I've been shifting away from doing sumo deadlifts and doing Romanian deadlifts. So for the next set, I did landmine RDLs, and these are actually so much fun. And if your gym doesn't have the landmine extension, you can place a bar in a corner, or you can also do this with a dumbbell. And each set, try and increase the weight. Next up, we have single RDLs, and these require balance and core strength. I was struggling to balance on my left side, which is pretty normal for me since I'm right dominant. With that said, it's really important to notice any asymmetries within your body in order to become stronger as a whole. And asymmetries is essentially when you're stronger in one side compared to the other. And then I finished off with these hamstring strides, which were so hard. I actually got this move from Whitney Simmons, and I found it really challenging and a good way to burn out your hamstrings and glutes. And then lastly, I always stretch because if I don't, I actually can't walk the next day. And one reason why it's so important to stretch is that it allows you to bring back your heart rate, blood pressure, and breathing rate back to a normal state, relaxing your body. So even if it's just 5 minutes, it's worth it in the long term. So here's my warm-up for an upper body day. I usually take a resistance band and do dislocations, pull-up parts, and more. And just like cooling down, warming up is really important because it preps your muscles to ease your body into higher intensity. And it's really important for injury prevention. And before I start my workout, I usually do dynamic stretching, cardio, and warm-up sets. Dynamic stretching is essentially bringing movement to a stretch. And warm-up sets are doing the movement you're planning on doing at a lighter weight. For example, if I were starting with shoulder press, I would start at a lighter weight and then move up in weight. So I started off with barbell shoulder press, and I mostly do these because they're fun, and I try not to use momentum through my legs by placing my feet in the following stance. It also helped me avoid falling backwards. Next up, we have bench press, and a major change I made to my week of workouts is doing shoulder press before bench press. And the reason why is that I can progressively overload more in shoulder press than I can in chest press. So essentially, put your most important compounds at the start of your workout and the accessory movements in the second half. Give you a kiss, I'll be okay. Drip, drip, So incline press, which targets your upper chest, is a really great way to strengthen your pecs, and it's something that I can actually see a difference in. From a year ago, I was able to increase in reps and weight, which is really satisfying to see the improvement in performance. And then I did a superset with Arnold press, starting out with an incline Arnold press and then a standard press. After you finish 8 incline presses, move up the bench and do as many as you can. Okay, I love doing around the world, but they're actually really hard. And for form, make sure your palms are facing forward and a slight bend in your elbows, and try to really push yourself and go till failure. Now with tricep pushdown, make sure your elbows are tucked in and for the most part stable. And I found that having a slight lean forward helps with the extension in your tricep. And then a drop set is when you do a certain amount of reps in your working weight and then drop the weight by half and do as many as you can. Good luck. And then after with skull crushers, it's the same idea as tricep pushdown. Keep your elbows stable, and the only thing that should be moving are your forearms. And also I like to put my legs up on the bench, but you can keep them down. And then I did this Pamela Rife ab workout that was weighted. It was painfully hard. I tried to do at least one ab workout video a week, and then actual weighted ab workouts, which I'll show on my pull day. And then usually on upper body days, if I have time, I'll sprinkle in some cardio. Here I did the Stairmaster, and then that was the end of this workout. And then recently I've been adding in a 5th day to my week of workouts, which is usually on Wednesday. And this is when I'll do mostly cardio and sprinkle in some abs. I start off with some mobility and dynamic stretching for my workout.
Back then there was a time I thought we'd prevail.
So over here I did the Caroline Gervon weighted ab workout. It's really challenging. For me, I really like to do challenging ab workouts and do them until they start to get easier or boring. And then I'll find another ab workout that's harder or more interesting. And then for the actual cardio part, I'll do a video from Kaylee Cohen Cycling. The beginner hip hop is my favorite, and by the time I finish, I'm always drenched in sweat, but the workout is actually really fun, but it's definitely challenging. And as always, I finished off with a full body stretch.
I know it would save me time if I just hit decline.
Now for my second leg day of the week, I'll do it with a friend, Juliana. It's probably one of my favorite days because we have so much fun and we're also really productive. With that said, it's really important to find a workout buddy that motivates you and pushes you, but also someone that you can have fun with. So I usually work out with Juliana on Saturdays and we focus on quads and glutes.
Go ahead and look at the percentage. You out your element, you probably gon' get lost. Well, I look like folding, I'm the one that popped it off. Been on it way too long, it ain't no way.
So I started off with squats, and with each set I increased the weight, working up to 25s on each side. And I feel like during the summer, before I took a 2-week break, my squats were so much better. But honestly, I could care less since I care about other compounds more. It's really hard to progressive overload on squats, so I make sure every time I do squats, my form improves. And also at the end, I did go till failure.
Murakami flowers on my fitted. I'm already knowing that I'm gifted, and everything I do is with precision. Go ahead and look at the percentage. Now you can see it, these windows ain't even tinted. I'm fish.
I did hip thrust after, and it's really important for hip thrust that your chin is slightly tucked in, and looking at something right in front of you can help with that. It's really important to tuck in your chin so you don't hurt your neck, and so you can create a posterior tilt with your pelvis at the top of the motion. The way I would describe a posterior tilt is tucking in your pelvis, or like the opposite of arching your back. And then I supersetted that with these weighted standing fire hydrant things, and these target the smaller glute muscles. After that, we did another superset, starting off with open stance walking lunges. These are actually a burner, especially towards the end. I got this move from Natasha Ocean, and it's fun to add this variation in. And then if you want to make this a little harder, instead of tilting the non-working leg to the side, you can tilt it forward. And then we supersetted with alternating lateral lunges. To clarify, a superset is when you perform 2 exercises back to back, and a triset is when you perform 3 exercises back to back. And if you're working out with a friend, supersets are the way to go. But if you want to build endurance, supersets are also really great for that. And then for these, make sure you have a slight round in your back, but also use your glutes to drive you up, not your back, and then drop the weight and go till failure.
I'm impatient, I just get it and go. I might just cover my neck in some gold and get hella cold just to go to the stove. And I need all that you owe me a mode.
So for my last day, I'll do back and biceps to finish off, and I formed a really great warm-up that I'll explain now. So I do 1 minute of running and 1 minute of mobility, and I repeat that until I feel warmed up. I usually end up doing it 3 times.
But I might pull out the Yeezys. Might tint the windows in the whip so you can't see me. Keep it real, this ain't a net, this ain't for TV. Keep crying.
Okay, so this is probably the highlight of my week of workouts because I love single arm bent over rows. I stopped doing standard bent over rows with the barbell because I got bored of it and I wasn't improving. But with this, I've been able to see so much improvement. I can increase my weight almost every week. So if you haven't added this to your back day yet, I highly recommend it. I've increased my weight by almost 20 pounds from when I first started.
Every dollar on selfish and the flavor engraved in my DNA. That you're right on the wave like Elvis. We know you a fraud, you ain't stand up.
And then I did bent over rows with dumbbells, taking 3 seconds to go down. And then I also used lifting straps because I'd rather not rip up my hands and get a ton of blisters. But if you do want to increase your grip strength, try to avoid using the lifting straps. For me, it's usually my grip that gives out before my body does, so I think lifting straps are really helpful. And then since this is a superset, I did bicep curls right after. With the bicep curls, I also took 3 seconds to go down.
And I want something.
Now for pullovers, I mostly do them because they're a feel-good movement. I feel a really nice stretch in my shoulders when I do this. Regardless, they're also really great for your back, and then engage your core in order to protect your lower back and prevent yourself from overarching. And then for these, you can either prop up your legs on the bench or on ground. If you feel like you're arching your back too much, you can prop up your legs on the bench.
Girl, I know that this is reckless. Is it wrong?
And then I did bicep curls. I actually forgot what this variation is called, but I noticed that I can go a little heavier on these than I can for standard bicep curls.
Queen, you're a queen. Yeah, I'm a hopeless romantic.
Next up, I did single arm lat pull down. You can do the standard lat pull down, but I prefer to do single arm because then I can work on each side unilaterally, which means only training one side at a time. This allows you to work each side equally. For standard pull down, my right side may be working more than my left side, which I don't want.
Hometown, yeah, baby, I'm wasted on you. Not that we tasted. 1, 2, yeah, baby, I'm fake.
And then these are the weighted ab exercises I was talking about earlier. These are really great for working your obliques, and I usually end up doing 8 reps on each side for 3 sets, and then supersetting that with a hanging ab exercise that I add a dumbbell with.
Not that we tasted. 1, 2, yeah, baby, I'm faded. Baby, I'm faded off of you.
And then usually on my upper body days, I'll do cardio. And then usually I multitask by also doing like flashcards or watching videos. I think today I was watching an AP Gov Unit 1 review. And then as always, I always end off with a stretch. Alright guys, we made it to the end of this video. And if you do end up trying any of these workouts and have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments or DM me. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next week.
10 toes in my bankroll while you're